The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and this is our hour to talk about taxes and money. And are you all set? Have you gotten your refunds? Are they sending you love letters? Has the state of New York shorted your refund? Things of that nature. Hey, we want to help you. Our phone number here in studios, 803-0930. 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And, of course, I got my compadres here with me, Tiffany Fabian. Hey, Tiff.
Hey there, Esther. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you. It's nice to have a Saturday, isn't it?
Yes.
Where you can sleep in the morning and everything. And your best buddy, Christopher Fabian, my best buddy, too.
Hello, Esther.
Hey, Chris. How you doing? Hey, you know, it's interesting. I was online getting ready for the show today. So they had this site on MSN, the best wing spot in every state. So I thought, well, in New York, it's going to be the Anchor Bar, right? No, it's the Dinosaur Barbecue in Harlem.
Oh,
what?
How do you like that?
They probably
Can
didn't
you
even come to Buffalo.
I mean, can you imagine
No.
that there would not be any chicken wings if it wasn't for Buffalo?
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, check that out. It's on MSN. The best wing spot in every state, and Buffalo's not even mentioned. But you know, something we want to talk about, and it's we talked about it a couple of weeks ago about casualty losses. And it's a sad thing that you even got to talk about a casualty loss. But if you suffered a decrease in fair market value of one of your assets, like a home, a car, maybe somebody broke in your home and stole stuff from you, there was a robbery, and it wasn't covered by insurance or only partially covered by insurance, then you would potentially have a casualty loss. And this is really important because this time of year, we had the flooding in Lake Ontario, the flooding in West End a couple weeks ago. We had tornadoes this week, right?
Weird. Yep. But
And so
true.
if anybody that suffered a decrease in fair market value, so your house was worth $150 before the tornado, and now because you don't have a roof, it might be worth $90,000, you would have a $60,000 casualty loss. And you'd have to reduce that by any insurance reimbursement. Let's say you get $20,000 from your insurance company, you'd still have a $40,000 casualty loss, and to that you'd have to reduce that by 10% of your adjusted gross income. But it's really important to get all your ducks in a row because you got to prove that, right?
That's right. That's right.
You have to have receipts, and you have to know what your basis is, and you have to know what your basis is afterwards. And so you got to make sure that you dot your I's and cross your T's.
So what would somebody do? What are some of the things and let's say your basement flooded, right? Maybe your furnace went out, your hot water tank went out, all your things that you had stored in the basement are done, are damaged, your Christmas tree is messed up. What are some of the things that somebody would want to do to substantiate a casualty loss? And let's quantify this. Like, if I had a $40,000 casualty loss and I was in the 25% bracket,
God bless you.
Federal, what are we talking about in money here?
If you had a $40,000 loss in the 25% bracket, right, you're looking, simple math, $10,000.
Federal.
Federal.
Plus New York State. Right?
Right.
So that's a lot of money.
Yep.
And so what should somebody do if they have suffered a loss and maybe they didn't have, so many people don't have flood insurance. And flood insurance doesn't pay that much anyway.
Right.
Make sure you take pictures, document.
Call the insurance company anyways.
Right.
Have them come out and say, no, I'm sorry, you're not covered.
Right. And so then the other thing is an appraisal is very important. Now, for those people living on Lake Ontario, we're really lucky because GAR Associates in Amherst is willing to do the before and after appraisals of the decrease in fair market value of the land that you lost and the trees that maybe you lost and your house that maybe fell into the lake. And all of those things need to be substantiated, and then you get to take the casualty loss on your tax return. And if they rule the casualty on Lake Ontario, if you're a homeowner on the shore, as a federal declared disaster area, you can take it both either in 2017 when the casualty happened or 2016.
Right. And you probably would want to go back to 16 because you can do it now, and then you'll also get interest on that money as well.
Right. But it's so important. And by the way, the appraisal fee is deductible, right? Because it goes into the casualty expense.
Yep.
So that's really important. I wanted to make sure if anybody suffered anything, or if you know your aunt's house filled up with water this week or last week because of the flooding, or you know that somebody's fence in the backyard fell down, talk to them about this because this is very important. And if you aren't somebody that wants to call us on the live on air, you can call EG Tax during the week, right?
That's right, 632-7886. We're here all the time, 9 to 5 this time of year. You could go to our website, egtax.com, ask the tax lady. Those go right to Esther herself, and I'd say probably, within 3 hours you answer them?
Well, I mean, the minute it comes in, I answer it, I mean, I try, as sometimes, I'm doing something important like sleeping, but, if it comes in, I answer it pretty quickly.
Yeah. And, one thing, because I talked to our insurance agent, Bill Barber, about with the tornadoes and all that, and he said, around here, the wind, you're usually covered. There might be some tree removal that you're not. You don't need tornado insurance or hurricane insurance. That's for the coast or in the Midwest. He goes, the best thing to do is have your policy looked at. Make sure you have a water and sewer backup, because that's what most flooding is in homes, is the water and sewer backup. So it's not covered unless you have that. So
and the thing is, it's not that much money either. I mean, that rider is not that much
money. It's like $25 or something like that.
On your insurance policy. So those, especially, it seems like we have really gotten in kind of a slump with one casualty versus another casualty plus another casualty. So you want to make sure that, like Chris is saying, check with your insurance agent to make sure that you're covered.
That's right. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I'm Esther Gulias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back on the other side. We're going to talk about mid-year tax tune-ups and tax tips for homeowners and things for your personal finance on the other side. 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. We'll see you on the other side. Hey, I'm Esther Gulias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And I bet you I know what the name of that group is. I bet you it's Lincoln Park. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Do you know that that's where I'm from? I'm from Lincoln Park.
I did know that.
Lincoln Park, Michigan.
I knew that
that's
too.
Right. So that's
close to home.
Close to home,
That,
right.
That group is close to
Hey,
home.
we're talking taxes. We're talking about mid-year tax tune-ups. And before we get into what we have a caller on line one. How can we help you, Kathy? Hello, Kathy.
Hi. Yes, thank you for taking my call.
No problem. What can we help you with?
Great. Well, my mom passed away, and we had her property appraised and the contents of the house appraised. Now we have to divide it up among the rest of the siblings. And I'm wondering, what do we have to do as far as claiming it for New York State tax? Like, say the items are maybe Oriental rugs or china and things like that.
All right. Now, you guys inherited this. This came through the will or through probate, right?
Yes.
So Mom didn't give you this before she passed. This was things that you inherited after the death, correct?
Right, exactly.
So the house was not titled to you. All right, so there's basically two different things. the sale of the house, once it's sold, because you inherited it, you're going to get a stepped up basis on the house. So the fair market value at the time of mom's death is going to be your cost basis. So in effect, you're not going to have any taxable event. All right? Now the contents of the house, again, because you're inheriting it, you get a stepped up basis on everything. And when you sell everything, everything's not going to be taxable again. Now, if you inherited any annuities, any IRAs, any pensions, then that's different. Right, guys?
That's right. That's a horse of a different color. But and for instance, if it's cash in the bank, you don't have to worry about. But if it's a pension or IRA, you have different options in front of you.
Okay?
Oh, wow. This is complicated.
Yeah, so it depends what it consists of.
It's really not, because if it was gifted to you, you just get to liquidate everything, divide it by whoever is supposed to get their share. Everybody gets the money, and it's not going to be taxable.
And then, Kathleen, once you find out what all her items consist of, give us a call at 632-7886, and we'll tell you during the week the taxability of each item.
But it sounds like it won't be taxable at all.
Shouldn't be.
Well, yeah, that's what she said.
She inherited everything,
Right.
so.
I thought we were talking about pension. Or
Oh, the
something.
pensions,
The
yeah.
pensions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have, several siblings, and we are going to be dividing up the, the actual physical things. And so someone had told us that those items are taxable.
They're not. If you inherited it, if you inherit it, you get the stepped up basis. If you take the item, then the fair market value at the date of the death of the person who gave it to you becomes your basis. So if you had an Indian rug that appraises at $2,000, save that appraisal, because if you sell it next year for $3,000, then you'd have a $1,000 gain.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. All right.
But if you sell it all now, so you have a big auction, the auctioneer comes in, big liquidation, you guys are all done, sell the house and all the contents, you got $200,000, there's 4 of you, everybody gets $50,000, it's going to be tax-free.
Right. Got it.
Okay?
Okay. All right. Yeah, very good. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Kathleen. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. Let's talk, before we get to the other callers, about this. This is as mid-year as you can get, right? This is the 22nd of July. So is now a good time to look at your next, at what's happening tax-wise?
Yep, absolutely. I have people come in each day that I'm at the office, and that's what they're doing. They're looking at mid-year correction. Should I change my withholdings? I'm taking some money out of my pension, and so am I doing proper withholdings? This is my first year getting Social Security. Should I have social withholdings out of my Social Security? So
Right,
now
because
is the time.
Now is when you can do something about it. During tax time, it's too late. The die is cast. Except for
Right.
putting money into maybe an SEP or into an IRA, you're pretty much stuck with the results that you made during the tax year. Here's some things that you should think about. Your extension deadline's October the 15th. You want to make sure that you're getting your stuff together to do your tax return if you filed an extension, right?
Yes, definitely.
And a lot of times, what do people do? They got the extension till October the 15th. When do they look at it?
October 14th.
That's exactly right. So now is the time. Sit in the backyard when it's a nice sunny day with all your receipts. Get your stuff together now.
Yep. I know I have a corporation that we file an extension for. He's coming in on Tuesday. He goes, I want to make sure I get it done, have everything, just in case I'm missing something. We have plenty of time to go back.
That's exactly right. All right, and the other thing is, did you have lifestyle changes? If you've had lifestyle changes, that means your tax situation changed. Did you get married? Did you get a divorce? Did you have a baby? Did your baby that's turned 17 this year? That's you lose the $1,000 child tax credit. Did you buy a house? Did you sell a house? Did you buy rental property? Did you change jobs? All of these things affect your income tax return. Right?
That's right. And so with it comes all these changes. And you just might want to sit down with somebody and look at your pension options. For instance, if you got a new job, I just sat with somebody and they weren't contributing to a 401k and they had been with the employer for many years. And so I sat down with them and I showed them the difference. And so you just want to get a fresh set of eyes when you're looking at things.
Or like Kathleen, she and her family inherited assets.
Right.
You know, I mean, and if you're somebody that's maybe looking at maybe being a senior citizen, you're thinking about nursing home planning, you know, you if you want to go on Medicaid, you pretty much have to liquidate your assets 5 years before going into a nursing home. So that would mean while you're still healthy. All of those things are very important, and this is a great time of year to do it. We have all the time in the world, well, maybe not all the time, but we have a lot of time this time of year to help you with your planning, and there's no charge.
Yep.
Right? And did you become self-employed? If you are self-employed, then you have not only do you pay income tax, but you have to pay your own FICA. And you might have to have, if you have employees, you might have workers' comp.
We had somebody call us the other day, and she is a child care sitter in the home, and that's all that she does is just work for that person as a child care sitter. And so with it comes, she's a household employee. And actually, it was the person who is the employer who called from Florida. It was one of our Florida offices.
And it's really interesting because many times when you hire a daycare person and they're coming to your home, you don't feel like an employer.
Yep.
But you are. In the eyes of the law, you're an employer. So you have to start withholding FICA.
Yep.
You have to do disability. All of these things have to be figured, and that's part of what we help you with.
What
and
did
this is
she
something you
decide
wanna
to do, Chris, after you told her that?
Well, it was for medical reasons. They had to have a babysitter inside the house for seizures. So I said, if you can get a letter from your doctor, you still want to do a household employee because that's the right thing to do. But at least then you'll get the medical deduction on your Schedule A. So there's a lot of different things.
Right, because
the
daycare is limited by one or two or more children. So in this situation, they'd be able to get a medical expense too if she's doing nursing, right? Some type of nursing. The other thing is, are you contributing to your 401k plan or your pension plan or simple at work? That's really important because during tax time, it's too late. We can't fix what you didn't do last year. Now's the time to look at that. How much are you making? Are you putting anything away? Is there a company match? If you're making $40,000 and there's a 3% company match, all you need to do is put in $1,200 and the company will match another $1,200. But if you don't do it,
you're throwing away money.
$1,200 out the window, right?
That's
all right. Let's go back to the phones. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we have a call from Java. How can we help you?
Yes, hello. Yes, I retired 17 years ago, and just last year the company, I did not take a survivor option, but the company gave me an offer to buy my pension, I guess you could say, with a government actuary table that I'm going to live 13 more years. Mm-hmm. So that would take me up to 85. And they gave me that money in a lump sum, which I then rolled into a IRA.
Okay.
And taken out some distributions because now I don't have a pension. And I was just wondering if that was the right move to make. And I've invested it.
So all right. So here's the thing.
RMD.
What we need to do is to put well, first of all, there's nothing much you can do. You did it, correct?
Yep.
All right. So then you got to put a pencil to the numbers and say how much were you getting from the company without the buyout? Mm-hmm. What's your projected life expectancy? How much did they give you? What kind of return on investment are you going to get? One good thing is whenever you can control your own money, that's a very good thing, provided you're a good financial person. In other words, you're not going to go out and spend all the money going to Acapulco next week or something. But if you're going to be prudent and frugal with your own money, then that's a great thing that you have control over your own money because then you can make your own decisions. Just make sure that you're invested with somebody. You know, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. And you want to make sure that you're invested with somebody that's got a good track record. You know who it is that that you have recommendations, that this is a good, honest person that you're investing with. But if you want us to go ahead and do the workup for you, we're very happy to do that.
Okay.
And all you have to do is call us at 632-7886.
I mean, you've always taught me, Esther. I mean, like you said, if you manage it well, a bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. And so if he does a good job managing it, that's a good thing.
It's very true, because you never know. You take a look at the Teamsters
Yep,
right now.
that's what I was thinking.
And everybody's got all their eggs in that basket, and the Teamsters are talking about cutting back. And whenever your money's controlled by somebody else, there's nothing much you can do.
Mhm.
Okay?
One thing I did lose was my supplemental insurance, health insurance.
Right. Well, and that's a lot of money too.
Right, so I've got to make that up, and of course I make it up, I guess, with my RMD. I take out so much for that and supplement
Right.
the pension.
Well, again, if you want, call us at the office. We'll work it all up for you, okay?
Sure. Okay.
All right, thanks a lot. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We're talking about mid-year planning. We're going to talk about tax tips for homeowners, and we'll talk to you on the other side of the news. Well, boy, oh boy, there's a song that I've been waiting to hear. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax. Our phone number here in studio is 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. Okay, let's talk about stuff you can do in the summer to affect your taxes. How about cleaning out your closets and giving stuff to charity? And what's really important is you really have to document what you give to charity. And many times when it's the end of the year and everybody's getting their Christmas presents and they're putting away, and they just take them down to the unattended donation center and they plop them down, unfortunately, without any proof, you can't take the deduction.
That's right. That's right. You need the ticky or no washi. You need that proof that you actually brought it there. And pictures are also a really good idea, and documentation. A lot of my clients will do spreadsheets, and if you go to goodwill.com, they actually have a valuation
Yeah, this time of year,
table.
the kids are going to start getting bored here pretty soon and say, you know what? Go in your closet and empty everything out and tell Mom how many shirts do you have that you're giving away? How many shorts? What do you and make a project out of it. And who knows, if you give away a bunch of stuff, $3,000 in things to assets, you got them all written down and everything, can save you almost $1,000 in taxes. So it's almost like making money and using the kids at the same time.
Yep, that's right. I was thinking that caller, her mom or dad passed away, and so if she was cleaning the house, she would want to donate stuff to Goodwill or Salvation Army, and that would be a good opportune time to do that as well.
That's absolutely right. And the other thing is, this time of year, we got summer camp, right? And you want to make sure that the kids don't go to an overnight camp. Why is that?
Because then you can't take the child independent care credit if you are entitled to the credit, but if it's an overnight camp, you're not allowed to take that credit.
Right. So you want to make sure that you send your kids to day camp in order for you to go to work. But if they spend the night and you and your spouse were having a lovely romantic dinner, that's why it's not deductible. I'm only kidding. But if they spent the night, then it's not deductible. So it's just day camps. And you make sure that you get the employer ID number of each camp that they went to, because that has to go on the tax return.
That's right. That's right. Their name, their address, and their tax ID number. So the IRS can match it with them, with their records. But, it's not hard. Hey, what's your ID number? Can I have the receipt with the, and they'll give it to you.
And don't forget, it's also a state credit, but on the state, it's a refundable credit. So if you weren't entitled to the credit on the federal, you're definitely entitled to it on the state.
And they'll give you, not only give you the money, it's even if you had no liability, like you said, it's refundable. They're going to send it to you. getting ready for college this time of year. It's hard to believe that August is just around the corner. That means there are going to be all those ads for back to school and everything. You're going to be looking at getting your kid ready for college, many of you. All of the education expense, you want to make sure that you've applied for your help from New York State if you're somebody that would qualify for the tuition-free ability, I guess, from New York State. So if you need your 2015 tax return so you can fill out your FAFSA forms, EG Tax will help you with that, help you with your FAFSA forms. The other thing is you want to make sure that you have good records for if you're paying for books and supplies and things of that nature that also dovetail with the free tuition that the state of New York has given you, because you'll still qualify for the American Opportunity Tax Credit if it's the first 4 years of continuing education. Right, guys?
Yep. That's right.
So you want to make sure you start thinking about this. Now, room and board, does that qualify?
No, it does not. And, I really just want to say the American Opportunity Tax Credit is a wonderful credit. So just like Esther says, make sure you keep track of all your receipts and document things. And so many times kids will ask for mom and dad's credit card for their books, but mom and dad at the end of the year when I'm doing their return, they can't recollect what those books and supplies were.
That's exactly right. And they're calling the kids, what was that?
Yep.
That book and how, and so now's the time when you're getting ready to send your kid off to college, those books and supplies, the laptop that is required for their education, those are all things you want to tuck aside into maybe an envelope, mark at college, because there is 2 credits that you can get, the American Opportunity Tax Credit and the New York State Education Credit. So important. The other thing is, now's a good time to look at your investments. Are your investments on track?
Yep.
Look at those.
How many people know how to read those forms, Chris?
Not a lot.
And we will help you. I mean, we actually would be willing to sit down with you and explain how to read the investment forms that your brokers are sending you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't just file them away. Open them up. Look at, hey, am I making money? Am I losing money? Is it,
And I can't tell you, make sure you have those conversations with your brokers. So many brokers will say, we just are going to roll it over into this other fund. But the truth is, a lot of times you can't just roll it over. They have to sell it. And I've had so many clients that at the end of the year, they have this huge tax liability because they thought it was just rolled over, but indeed it was actually sold.
Because you can only roll over tax-free an IRA or a pension or an annuity, right?
Right.
But when your broker says, I'm just going to move, I'm only moving your money, that means he's selling it. And that means that all the gain that's grown in that investment from the time you first purchased it till the date of the sale, that all has to be reconciled and counted on your 2017 tax return. So that's really, really important. So you want to make sure you have that conversation with your broker if he's selling something. Even though they're bundling it with a really nice word, they're saying we're just moving the money around, that is a catchphrase for sold, and that means you have to report it on your tax return, especially with the stock market responding so positively. It's an unbelievable range right now. It's all kinds of money being made in the market. You want to make sure that you check your investments to make sure they're on track, and make sure that if you did get something sold, that you're ready to pay the piper during tax time, right?
Yep. If you have questions, give us a call here, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on the cell phone. We want to help you guys out there. If we're saying something that's striking a nerve, give us a call.
Even if it's not striking a nerve.
Even if it's not striking a nerve.
Another thing that people aren't aware of is if you rent your personal home for 14 days or less, that income is tax-free.
That's right.
Each year. So let's say that what kind of event is happening in Buffalo?
Well, we have what is it? Niagara on the Thunder or something? Thunder on the Niagara.
Or let's say that the
Italian festival was.
Yeah, but I'm just where somebody'd say, "Oh, we want to come to Buffalo and we want to rent your house for 2 weeks. We would like to be at Niagara Falls."
Oh, wait, I got it. The Bills are going to be really good this year, and there's a high demand for people to come in to watch the Bills games.
Yeah, beautiful dreamer. All right, but anyway, so let's say, for instance, that let's use the Bills, and they're doing really good, and somebody from Florida says, "I just want to be at the Bills game, and so will you guys move out of your house for a week?" If you moved out of your house for the week and you're charging them $3,000, if it's less than 15 days, that $3,000 is tax-free.
That's
or
pretty
let's say you
cool.
live in Niagara Falls and somebody's got a wedding coming and they want to rent out your house. As long as it's less than 15 days, the income, it doesn't even have to be reported on your tax return. It's tax-free.
That doesn't.
So people don't know about that.
That doesn't happen very often where you have tax-free income.
Well, that's one of the wonderful things about houses is that there's all kinds of great tax benefits for being a homeowner. Like, for instance, mortgage interest is deductible. Now, just because mortgage interest is deductible, should people have a mortgage?
No, not necessarily. No, especially a lot of seniors, they're over the age of 65, and so they have an extra $1,250 added to their standard deduction, so they don't even have enough to itemize, so it really doesn't behoove them.
So mortgage interest is deductible if you're unable to pay cash, but if you don't need a mortgage, it's better not to have a mortgage. But the great thing is the mortgage interest is deductible. Points are deductible too if you get your brand new, if you're getting a new mortgage.
On a new house.
On a new house. Or a used house. New
Well,
deal.
if you refinance, you have to amortize.
Amortize the points. But points are deductible. Property taxes are deductible. So when you're, especially in New York State, there's big property taxes. Those are deductible. But one of the best things is when you sell, you tell me where you can say to yourself, I know if I'm filing a joint return, the first $500,000 I make on this investment is tax-free every 2 years. And that's how it is on a personal residence. If you have a personal residence and you made up to $500,000, not the sale price, but the gain, if it's up to $500,000 and you're married filing a joint return, $250,000 and you're single, that money is forgiven. It's tax-free.
Yep. And that's a really nice thing to take advantage of. Yep. And we get that call all the time because there used to be a time where you'd have to take the proceeds within so many years and go and buy another house, but that's not the case anymore.
I mean, if you guys are people are looking for the best investment to make money and it's a win-win, live in your house, fix it up, sell it, make a profit, buy another house every couple years, and you can write off, if you're married filing a joint return, up to $500,000 every 2 years in gain because you don't have to buy another house, but you can actually start a little nest egg by just buying and selling houses.
I can tell you, Chris and I moved about a year ago. It's a stressful event. I mean, it's a lot of work.
For some people.
Yeah, not me. I don't mind.
My daughter was in the other house crying and taking pictures of our old house.
But now she feels differently, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. She does.
But would you give up? I mean, I would for $500,000 every 2 years. I would put up with a lot of stress.
Well, $500,000 tax-free right there. I mean
come on.
That saves you about almost $2 million.
Yep. And then the other thing
$200,000, I should say.
Other thing with houses is that, or any other capital assets, you can inherit it, and when you inherit it, the person who got the asset from the decedent gets it at the stepped-up basis. So if it was worth $200,000 when mom and dad died, and that you inherit it, your basis is $200,000. So if you sell it,
hey,
the whole thing's
Esther,
tax-free.
I know people like real-life examples, and we had somebody call our office the other day, and they inherited a property, but then they put the house for rent. So what happens at that point when they start renting the house that they inherited?
Well, they have the stepped-up basis, right? Mm-hmm. But when they sell it, they have to recapture the depreciation.
Right.
So it's like not so hot, but it's It's almost wonderful, but it's not as wonderful as it would have
Yeah.
been. And that's what's so important, and that's what I love about our show, is that we hope we're making you think before you sign on the dotted line, before you say yes to something. EG Tax is there to help you. Give us a call. We want to help.
That's right.
And so, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930. 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back on the other side.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
It will
I'm
matter.
Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax. We want to help you. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. If you have any calls, any questions, anything that's spurred your thought process, give us a call. We'd love to help you. A couple things that when I was preparing for the radio show today, thought would be interesting to talk about is that this is the vacation time, and many times people are planning to fly out of Buffalo, Well, if you just go to Toronto, you might find that you save a lot of money on airfare by just flying out of Toronto. And a lot of people say to me, oh, but then you got to drive up there and you got to find a place to keep your car. And the truth is, there's like these hotels that you can use their parking lot for the week. And Chris, what did they charge that one time that we were there?
Oh, what did we pay? After the exchange rate, it was like $40 for the week.
Right, and they drop you off and pick you up. But here's the remarkable thing. In a recent plane ride acquisition that I just did, out of where I was at, it would have been $1,400. If I flew out of Toronto, it was $900. Now that's a $500 change, and that's because the exchange rate on the Canadian dollar, $1 US is worth $1.26 Canadian. So I just thought that was a little tip when you think about Toronto when you're flying, and you might find you save a lot of money.
And a lot of times you'll have a direct flight.
That's true because it's a bigger airport.
Yep.
That is true. Plus, you're not flying on a U.S. airline, and sometimes that's a good feeling too. And they do treat you a little different. Like Canadian airlines that I've been on, they are so genteel. They seem to have
I like that
a
word.
very nice way about that.
A very good demeanor. I think we got little hand wipies, and before they hand out hot towelettes.
Hot towelettes.
Hot
right.
towelettes.
The
Yes.
other thing, a lot of times people say, should I buy or lease a vehicle? So I have 10 vehicles that it's cheaper to lease than to purchase. For instance, one of the Mercedes-Benz's, a lease is $747 on average. To purchase it, the payment would be $965. BMW to lease is $853. To purchase, $1,045 per month. Nissan Rogue, to lease it $350 on average. To purchase it, $441. Toyota Camry, $282 for a lease. Purchase, $392. Cadillac XTS on a lease is $524, purchase $738. Ford F-150 to lease it $470 on average, purchase $662. Acura MDX lease $595 to purchase $863. Honda Civic lease $266 to purchase $388. Chevy Silverado $419 to purchase $653, and a Ram, that's one of the trucks, $392 and purchase $622. And I think that's because I think the residuals are so much better.
And I got to tell the listeners out there, what you did right there is something you do in your real life. I mean, you've checked to see where the cheapest nursing homes are in the country.
I'm going to Texas.
I mean, this is for real,
Texas.
folks.
Yeah, because it's for instance, in New York State, a nursing home is really, really expensive. You can go into a nursing home in Texas, and it's like a third of the cost of a nursing home in New York. And I've said to my kids, if I don't know who you are, put me in Texas. I mean, I can like it in Texas. I don't want to spend money just to stay in New York. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing with leases, you got to look at the whole picture too. You know, we're talking about saving money, but if you're a driver who puts 35,000 miles,
Of course. Of course. You got to live because then it wouldn't be cheaper, would it, Chris?
No.
If you can't live with the restrictions on the lease. But we're just talking about, on average, many times these particular cars, it's cheaper to lease it than it is to purchase it. Now, of course, the other thing you have to say is, but at the end of 3 years or 4 years or 40 months, you turn in and all you have is receipts, whereas if you had stuck it out for 60 months, you'd actually have an asset.
Right.
But so many times, people are just trying to make that monthly payment.
Yep. That's
Obviously,
right.
keeping a car for well over 100,000 miles and not having any payment is the best financial move. But many times people they just don't have a control over their finances.
I was with a client on Friday, and her car is quite old. It's got way over 100,000 miles. But when her monthly payment to purchase it was done 3 years ago, she started putting the payment amount in the bank.
Oh, my God.
So that now she has enough cash to purchase the next car. To pay cash. She's just so smart with her money.
Well, see, some people have that ability to say no to themselves, and they're able to control their finances that way. But so many people aren't. And the other thing is they're living paycheck to paycheck. And so what's really important about this lease thing, for instance, lease versus purchasing, is to get your finances under control so you can get your credit cards under control, so that your credit score can go up, so that you get a better rate on everything, on your insurance, on your car loans. It's really important. A lot of people don't realize that if you do have a car that you're making payments on, you can actually go to a dealer and say, will you pay off my car? Let's say you owe $10,000 on a car. And they say, yeah, well, we'll take it on trade on this other car. You might get a lesser costing used car, and you can still work out that deal where they'll actually buy you out of the old payment and put you into a less expensive payment, and you can help your financial situation that way as well.
Makes
right?
sense. That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, other things I wanted to talk about is things that you can save money on, generic medications versus brand name. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And I know
like Walmart is really good at that. They try to make sure that you get generic so that you can save money instead of using the brand name.
And then if you're looking for the best prices, you can go to GoodRx. Mm-hmm. That's a website, and you can put in the name of the medication, and it'll tell you where the cheapest place to get it is.
That's cool.
And it's a really great website. Credit card rates, we've talked about it many, many times. If you're somebody that's got a large balance on your credit card, but your credit is still in good shape, now's the time to transfer that to a low interest or zero interest credit card, and don't charge on it. Just take that extra money that you would have put on the higher credit card payment and get rid of the debt on your credit cards.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But again, you have to think about it. You have to think about this stuff or it doesn't happen.
You have to make a conscious effort to make a change, too. You have to think about it and then make the change.
And the other thing is, antivirus software is available for free from Comcast. And so does AT&T offer free antivirus protection. And that is so important. Don't you think, Chris, that when you have a computer, you want to make sure that you don't fall for everything that's coming down the pike? And actually, people that call you, when you're getting phone calls that people say, we want to verify your credit card. If you get emails, we need to verify your credit card. Don't believe it.
Yep. Oh, definitely. Don't open up all those emails, the attachments. If you don't know who it's from, just hit delete. You know, if they want to get a hold of you, they know how else why. You know, just this week, I'm surprised it hasn't been on the news. Bank of America got hacked. Big time. They shut down their local ATM machines because of getting hacked. And one of our coworkers couldn't access their money for 2 days.
And I think that people are getting really savvy. About twice a week, I get somebody who emails me and says, I heard you're a really good CPA and an accountant, and I would like you to take over my taxes for 2017. And there's an attachment for me to open up their supposed tax return or documents. And so they get really savvy, and they know what industry you're in.
And so what happens is many people just get nuts. They say, well, what do we do? You know, here I am alone in my office. It's hard for them to believe that there are just people that are trying to get your personal information, and they send you bogus stuff. And obviously, that goes without saying. If you get a phone call from the IRS and they say we need $5,000 that you would put on a Walmart credit card right now, or else we're going to come get you and your children. That's not the way the IRS works.
No.
As a matter of fact, I had a client that called the other day, and they said, I'm really disappointed, Esther. The IRS said you've been making mistakes on my last 3 years' returns, and they want like $18,000. I said, that's a scam.
Yeah.
That's a scam. It's not true. I said, I'll put you on hold and we'll call the FBI right now. No, as long as you know that it's a scam. They're really not going to come take my kids? Not really. Not really. That's a way to know that it is a scam, because they want money, not your kids. Hey, during the week, if you need the best tax help, if you're in this situation, you wonder who to talk to, give EG Tax a call. Our website is egtax.com. And our phone number is 632-7886. Until next Saturday, I'm Esther Goulias with Tiffany and Christopher Fabian. Have a great weekend. God bless. Bye-bye.